Welcome to my first online class. So I'm starting off with my beautiful model here. I'm cleaning her face with some makeup removal. Any type of makeup removal of your choice will be fine. And I'm going to go ahead and get into the brows. So I just comb out her brows just to make sure everything is clean and even. And I start putting on the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Freeze to lock her eyebrows in place. Okay, once you put that on your client's brows or on your brows, you want to make sure it's fully dry. You do not want to draw on your eyebrows while it's wet because it will not show. So one thing that I've noticed is with the brow freeze, when I try to draw it in with a pencil, it doesn't show up as dark as I need it to be. So I go into the brows with the Anastasia Brow Pomade in chocolate. It's darker and it also shows a lot better on the brows on top of that product. I also like to draw in the brows just by the tail of the hairs. I usually keep the front of the eyebrows clean. I try to mimic a little bit more of a natural brow if I can. But if you don't have any hairs in the front, of course, just fill in your eyebrows as usual, all the way to the front. So I blend in the middle of her brow, just blending that harsh line where the pomade meets. And I'm going to go ahead and start concealing. So I use the Too Faced concealers and I mix the colors chocolate and butterscotch together for underneath her eyebrows. You don't want to go in with a concealer that's too bright because it's going to leave, that cast, but you also don't want to go in with a concealer that's too dark. So you want to just conceal the eyebrows with just really depends on how you like your brows. It could be 1, 2, or 3 shades lighter than your skin tone. That's fine. And I also conceal the top of her eyebrows with Chestnut, which is a concealer that is somewhat closer to her skin tone, so it won't have that halo effect. So to start off my smoky eyes, I like to put down a base. So this base that I'm putting down is the Color Case by made by Mitchell. He has a really good makeup line. You guys go check him out. So I put down his first base color, which is a black. If you don't have his product, you can also use a cream liner that's in black, whichever works best for you. So I'm going to put that down, and I'm going to also blend that out with my brush. Okay, once I finish blending out with my brush, I am going to go in with the Warrior 2 palette from Juvia's Place. And what I like to do is I like to put that black, it's like a matte black at the bottom of that eyeshadow that I love so much, and I'm going to put that on top of that black base that I put down. You want to make sure it's really good and matte, and then you're going to go in with a brown color. So every smoky eye is not always the same. Usually how I like to do my smokies, I like to start off with the dark and go all the way to light. So I usually start off with the dark color first, and then go in with like a medium color, and then a light color to blend everything out. So I'm going to go in with a brown from the Makeup by Yolanda eyeshadow palette, which is no longer in stock anymore. They discontinued it. So I'm going to go ahead and blend her crease out with that. Here I am taking another color from the Makeup by Yolanda palette, and I'm going to go in with a lighter brownish color to blend out that darker brown. So far I've only used 3 colors so far, and that's usually what I do. I usually just use 3 colors, maybe 4 with my smokies, and that's just the easiest way I see myself doing it. I'm adding more black back on her lid because that black did kind of cancel out in with the dark brown. So, you want to keep that smoky look. So I'm just put some more black back on the eyelids. Just be careful when you're doing this because you don't want to make your eyeshadow patchy. So I just lightly tap on the eye. Now I'm going back in with that medium brown, and I'm going to go back into the crease to add more to it. So when you're blending eyeshadows, sometimes your eyeshadows can cancel out the other color. So you don't want to leave your eyeshadow looking kind of canceled out, or you're not, the pigment is not there. So you always want to go back in with those previous colors that you used. So I'm just going back in with that dark brown and just adding more back into her crease. Okay, so now the eyes are done. I am going in with a makeup wipe removal and just getting all of that fallout. So I usually do my eyes and eyebrows first because of this reason, because fallout. Some makeup artists do their face first and then do eyes last. I have yet to master that, but has been the best technique so far. Do eyebrows and eyes first, clean up any fallout, and then let's get into the foundation. So when you're starting out your foundation, you always want to moisturize. So I'm using the Bobbi Brown moisturizer that I love so much. It is very, very nice. And so I'm just moisturizing her skin first. And then it's also a primer too. So I moisturize and primer at the same time with that product. Then I'm going in with the Milk of Magnesia. Now, I know a lot of makeup artists saying that they don't use it, they don't like it, it's not good for the skin, but I don't use it all the time, especially on my skin. And if you feel like this product is too heavy, or you have allergic reaction or whatever to it, you can use calamine lotion, or another just matte type of primer. But so far, this just has been the best primer for me. It just holds me down. It's hot in Atlanta, and I usually don't use this product a lot during the winter times, but during the summer times and springtime, this product just does me so well. So I'm going to continue to keep using it. Okay, so I am putting on her foundation. So I'm using the NARS foundation in Marquez, if I'm saying that correctly. I mix a little bit of that foundation with the LA Girl Blue foundation. And what this blue foundation does, it tones down the redness in foundation. So Marquez by itself is kind of on the red side. My client is not too much on the red side, so I mix a little bit of that blue foundation to tone down that redness. I love this trick. This trick has worked so well for me. If you're trying to save money on buying a lot of foundations, you can just get one foundation, buy that blue foundation, pump a little bit of that blue foundation in your foundation to tone down any type of redness. So here I'm just taking a spoolie just to scrape some of that milk of magnesia off. When you're using that milk of magnesia, you just want to be careful just to make sure none of that white is sticking out of your foundation, because it's going to show during the baking process and contour process. So you really want to make sure that that foundation is blended and make sure that milk of magnesia is not showing through. So next I'm about to get into the highlight. So I usually use the same colors that I use up underneath the eyebrow for the highlight of the under eyes, forehead, and nose. So I'm using Cookie, and I'm also using Butterscotch for underneath her eyes, the bridge of her nose, and the forehead. Those are the main areas I like to highlight. Some makeup artists like to highlight the chin. Me personally, I don't really want too much of attention on the chin. I really like a really bright under eye. So I usually try to highlight with a shade that may be a little 3 times lighter than my skin tone for a bright under eye. And then for the nose and for the forehead, I keep it kind of on the neutral side so it won't be too bright. So after I place my concealers, I like to spray a little bit of a hydration. So I'm using the Morphe Continuous Mist to spray her face just to get some of that moisture back into her face before I start blending. And I usually blend with a brush. A lot of people ask me, does a brush or a beauty blender is better? Me personally, I like the brush because the brush doesn't take away a lot of product. What I've noticed is that the beauty blender likes to soak up all the product, and me personally, I like to keep my product on the face. So it just really depends on how you like your highlight. But me, I like I said, to keep the brightness underneath there. I usually just blend out with the brush. And I use the beauty blenders to sculpt. So I usually use the beauty blender to pick up any powders. So once I finish blending the highlight, I like to go back in with my foundation brush that still has a little bit of foundation back on it, and I like to use a little bit of foundation to blend out any harsh edges. You always want to blend out any harsh edges of the highlight so it can look seamless as possible. Alright, so we're going to go into a cream contour. So you can either powder contour or cream contour. For this tutorial, I'm just showing you how to cream contour. I'm using the Curve Case by Mitchell as well. And the color the color case that I'm using is Deep. And I am cream contouring her cheeks, her forehead, and of course her nose. When you cream contour or just powder contour, whatever type of contour you like, you always want to go in with a shade that's at least 2 to 3 shades darker than your skin tone, so it can have that warm effect to it, that chiseled effect. And for her nose, I'm still using another Curve Case, but it's just medium. So when you're contouring, especially cream contouring your nose, you don't want to go in with that same dark shade unless you are like an ebony color or like a deep dark color. I like to contour with a shade that's not as deep, because you do not want your nose contour to be muddy or too dark. So I'm using the medium case color from Made by Mitchell. So going back in with that foundation brush, I am blending out all of that contour so it won't be so harsh looking, but also still keep that warm effect. I'm also using a blending eyeshadow brush to blend out that nose contour. You really want to make sure that nose contour is blended on the nose, because it's going to make sure that your nose contour isn't muddy looking. So I am putting some more concealer back down the bridge of her nose because I wanted to make that nose contour a little bit more sharp. And then I'm going to blend out the edges again with the brush. So I am using my triangle powder puff wedge. I usually don't use the beauty blender anymore to blend out my product on my face or on my clients' faces because I've noticed that it soaks up the product. I only use the beauty blenders now to just pick up powder to sculpt out the face. But I love the triangle wedges because they're disposable. So for sanitation reasons, they're really good and they're cheap. And also it really blends out any type of concealer without taking it away from the face. So when I'm blending out my concealers, I like to do it in sections. So I like to blend with the powder puff, and then I like to place that Kat Von Lock It In pressed powder underneath the eye, and then I like to put the loose translucent powder on top. So I'm using the color medium light from the Kat Von Lock It In, and mind you, the products is going to be listed at the end of the video, so please don't worry about that. Just enjoy the video. So doing the same thing that I did up underneath the eyes, I'm blending out the forehead with the triangle wedge, and then I'm using the Kat Von Lock It In powder in medium light. And then I'm going to also go ahead and put the translucent powder on top of that once I finish setting the whole face with that Lock It In powder. One thing I will say I don't like about using the cream concealer to contour the cheek area is that sometimes it can leave a wet look on the cheek area. So what I'm doing is I am taking the Laura Mercier translucent powder in translucent, which is the white powder, and I'm just setting her cheek first, and then I am going to powder contour everything. So I'm trying to make sure everything is set before I start powder contouring. Right here I am using the triangle wedge, and I'm using the Maybelline pressed powder, the matte pressed powder, the Fit Me. Her color is 360, I believe. And so I like to set the bottom of the face. Make sure the whole face is set. So I like to set that foundation at the bottom of her face so her whole face could look matte. Now I am using my dry beauty blender. I'm using a dry beauty blender, and I am taking the Laura Mercier in Translucent Honey, and I'm just setting up underneath her eyes, going a little bit down to her lip area. But I like a bright under eye, so I like to use a color that is, you know, 3 shades lighter than your skin tone. If you don't really like a bright under eye, that is fine. You can use a translucent powder that is either a shade or 2 lighter, or you can also use your skin tone shade. Just depends on how you like your under eye to look. Now for her forehead, I am taking the Ben Nye banana powder, and I'm just putting a little bit of that on her forehead. I don't want to put the translucent honey on her forehead because I kind of don't want her forehead to be too bright. So I'm using a banana powder that has a little bit more of a yellow tone color, so it won't look so bright on her forehead. Alright, so now that all of your liquids are set on your face, you always want to make sure every liquid is set on the face before you start putting a powder on top. So what I'm using is the Sacha Pro Powder Palette. I love this palette so much, but it sucks to say that this palette is discontinued. So I will say, you know, you can use any type of contour palette that you like. But I am using the Sacha Pro Powder Palette to contour her cheeks, her forehead, and down the bridge of her nose. Okay, so when sculpting out those cheekbones, I like to use a powder that is a little bit more on the darker side, because like how I didn't want the forehead to be too bright, I don't want that under cheek area to be too bright. So I use the Ben Nye in the color, I think it's Dulce. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's at the end of this video. So I like to put like more of a darker tone powder up underneath the cheek area, because I don't want that place on the face to be so light. Now I am going in with the the 24-hour waterline pencil from Urban Decay. I love this pencil so much. The name is Legend. I love this pencil so much because it is so black. This is like the blackest of the black eyeliner pencil for up underneath the eyes. I love it so much, and also it is waterproof. I've cried with it. I've had clients cry with this liner, and it has not budged at all. So you guys go ahead and get this liner. So what I like to do is I like to smoke out the bottom of the lash line. Now I do know that some clients have watery eyes, so if you have a client that has watery eyes, you can skip this step. Or if you have watery eyes, you can definitely skip this step. But I really love to smoke out the bottom of the eye because it gives more of a dramatic look. It makes your eyes look more fierce. So I'm just basically using the same colors that I use on top of the eyes up underneath the eyes to smoke it out. So I usually place the dark color first, and then I usually use a pencil brush to smoke it out with like a brown. So a little trick that I found is that to make the eyes pop even more, I like to use a little smudger definer brush and dip it in some black eyeshadow, and I like to place it up underneath that lash line to give it more of a dramatic effect. My model, she always says that she loves it when I do this. She said she doesn't know how I do it, but it's super easy to do. Just take a little bit of black eyeshadow and just smudge it up underneath that waterline so it can give it more of a dramatic look. Alright, so now that I'm done smoking out the bottom of her lash line, I am going to go ahead and dust away any products. I'm adding a little bit more eyeshadow on the eyelids a little bit because of the fallout from the powder. So you don't want to bake too long, but you also don't want to bake too short. If you have dry skin, you don't have to bake because you don't want your skin to get a little bit more drier. But with my client, she has combination skin, so I can bake a little bit longer. So I'm going back in with that Sacha Pro powder palette, and I am going to use a lighter brown to contour down the bridge of her nose. Like I said before, you do not want to use a extremely dark brown for your nose because it's going to look muddy, unless you are like of an ebony color, which will look fine. But I usually try to keep my nose contour not too dark, but not too light where you can't see it. Now to refreshen those eyebrows back up from all that powder, I like to use the e.l.f. It's like a clear mascara for your eyebrows. So I like to go back in with some clear mascara for the brows just to get those eyebrows looking back rehydrated. Now it is time to warm up that face. I love to use bronzers, so I'm using the I believe it's Kayo Beauty, if that's how you pronounce it. I'm using her blush palette. I love her blush palette so much because it is so pigment. So I'm using that orangey tone in her blush palette just to bronze up her cheeks and her on her forehead. And I'm also dusting away that translucent powder so it won't be sitting too long up underneath her eyes. Okay, so going back into that blush palette, I'm using a light pink, and I'm also kind of using a dark pink. I don't want to have like that Barbie rosy pinkish look, but I also don't want the blush to be too dark. So I like to mix the two together because it gives it a little bit more of a natural tone. Any blush works for you however you like it, but I do love this blush palette, so you guys go check her out. Alright, so it is time for me to put some lashes on her. So I love this eyelash glue. It is the Super Stronghold eyelash glue from iEnvy. You guys can get this eyelash glue online, or you can get it from a beauty supply store, drugstore. You can get it anywhere. I love this eyelash glue because it is really strong. It holds the lashes. The only thing I will say is that if your eye water, you want to make sure your eye is dry before you start putting on your lashes. Okay, so the type of lashes that I'm using, I got a bulk of lashes from Shein. Girls, please do not sleep on Shein. Shein has the same eyelashes that I've seen on Amazon. Amazon is basically selling Shein lashes for double the price. So what I did was I bought like 6 bulks of mink lashes for under $100. So you guys go ahead and check Shein out if you have time to wait. Shein shipping is not too bad, but I'm starting to love Shein. I've been sleeping on them, but I'm starting to love them. You guys go check them out. So I'm using the L'Oreal mascara, the Lash Paradise. I love this mascara because it really plumps the lashes up. I usually use this mascara for individuals that has lashes, but I use a smaller wand mascara for individuals who have like smaller lashes. So what I'm doing here is I'm using the Engolot gel liner. Another hack that I found myself is to put gel liner up underneath the eyelashes to blend the false lashes to the real lashes. I find this more easier versus putting actual mascara underneath the eyelashes because it doesn't really blend well and it's wet. So I like to use a cream liner because it's dry and it's easy to control, and it also blends the fake lashes and the real lashes together. Alright, we are almost done. So I am outlining her lips with the MAC Night Moth. I'm doing a red lip on her because it is a vampy look. So I love Night Moth. Night Moth is really a good combo for the red lip. You can use Night Moth, or you can use a dark brown, you can use a brown or whatever, or you can just put the red on by itself. Whatever look that you like, but I love lining the lips. So I like to line the lips, and I overline the lips a little bit just to give it a little bit of a full effect. So for the red lips, I'm using the Fenty Beauty. This is like the best red. I love this red. It's liquid, but it doesn't have that drying effect to it where your lips is so dry. So I do like her liquid lips because it leaves the lips not so dry, but it also gives that matte effect. Okay, so once I am done applying either the lip gloss or the lipstick, I like to go in with that concealer brush that I use for the eyebrows, and I like to clean up those edges of the lips. You always want to make sure when you're doing makeup, you always want to really be good with precision and crispness, even down to the lips. So I am cleaning up those harsh edges on the lips so it won't look like you just threw some lip gloss or some lipstick on your client. Now I am using the Morphe continuous mist setting spray for this look. I usually use the one size setting spray, but for this look I just wanted to just use the Morphe just to give it more of a moisturized look. And I am just tapping that product into the skin while she holds the fan to dry it. And we are definitely done, you guys. Thank you guys so much for purchasing my very first online video. This was not easy, but thank you guys so much for purchasing my online video. The products will be listed at the end of this video, so please do not click out of this. But if you have any questions or concerns, you can always DM me and let me know what's the next look that you would like to see from me. Thank you guys again. Love you.
Let's go. I'm buzzing, let's drink up. Your death look like big fun. Come on, let's get it on. Like that Marvin Gaye song. I'm stunning, you love it. Come on, give me something. I know that you want it. Come on, give me something. The night is young and so are we. So maybe you should leave with me. The night is young and so are we.